Good morning, everyone. Okay, so how are you all? So I'm audible to you. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible to you? No response. Okay, so audible to you now. Fine. I want just one point. I've seen your last class. Yeah, thank you. So I think I was discussing you the finance commissions. Clear? So finance commissions till the horizontal tax devolution formula. Okay, horizontal tax devolution formula I discussed in the class, and I think everything you revised, because now we are going to start from that point. So before starting or continuing this topic, let me give you the brief of what we done in this finance commission topic, and I think you revised it also. Okay. So after doing the fiscal policy, what is the taxes? Fiscal policy. We started discussing this topic, finance commissions. Okay, vertical devolution. This I'm just going to give you the 5 minutes. These things. Okay. So we have studied. We have discussed with you that finance commission is a constitutional body. President of India constitutes under the Article 280, and finance commission main responsibility is to study the fiscal health of the central government and state governments, and the basis of fiscal requirement. Okay, the finance commission can recommend the vertical devolutions between the center and states from the divisible pool. Divisible pool, I think you remember I have discussed, it constitutes all central taxes except cess and surcharges. All central taxes. So center is going to divide between among the states. So each and every finance commission recommends different percentage. Okay, like the 13 finance commissions recommended 32%, 14 finance commission recommended your 42%, but 15 finance commission recommended 41%. So okay, 41%, that in the vertical devolutions we have discussed with you. For horizontal distributions, each and every finance commission gives you the horizontal tax devolution formula. Okay, each finance commissions, 13 finance commissions given the horizontal tax devolution formula, 14 finance commission given the horizontal tax devolution formula, 15 finance commission given the horizontal tax devolution formula. So finance commissions to finance commissions, they can choose the different variables, like the 15 finance commissions recommended on the basis of population census 2011. Okay, they not considered the population census 1971, and that created one of the issue that the southern states, okay, on the basis of 2011, they are going to lose some amount, but the other states, they failed to control populations. Okay, they are basically on the basis of the population 2011, they're getting the benefits. Okay, so finance commission basically compensated these things, and new variables, which is your demographic performance. Okay, that is included or considered by the 15 finance commissions. Why demographic performance included? Because the states we perform better in controlling the populations, they compensated through this variable, that is demographic performance. Clear? Okay, tax efforts, other things, the tax efforts and tax and fiscal efforts, that variable was introduced. So in this way we have discussed. Clear? What are the main recommendation of 15th Finance Commission? These parts left. Okay, so I'm going to start this part only, and after including this, then after doing this, then we are going to start the new topic. Meanwhile, I want to know economic reforms topic we completed in the class or not. Like topic again, I am telling you the basic we have done it in the class, monetary system we have done in the class, unemployment, poverty, your fiscal policy, but only I want to know the economic reforms, because before I think this fiscal policy planning in India also we completed. So economic reforms part we completed with you or not. Meanwhile, you give me informations, and now I am going to start your 15th finance recommendations. What exactly the 15th Finance Commission recommended? What are the points? We discussed the horizontal tax devolution formula, but main recommendations, please write all of you. Okay, clear, right, please. And you are knowing that 15 finance commissions, 14th if you take first, and this 14th finance commission asked in the last time. Okay, so it's not necessary one कि suppose new commission is implemented, new commission's recommendation is implemented this year, so commission they will only ask the new one. No, they can ask you the previous one, they can ask for comparison between the previous one and present one. So when you are going to prepare for these exams, always you follow the trend of the commission's questions. Okay, we are only giving the focus to the current, but remember, current relevance is only when you are knowing the previous topic, previous things, because changes today is reflecting the some issues prevailing in the existing policies. So if you are knowing the existing policies, what are the issues, then only you can relate to how this new policy is going to be more effective in compared to the previous one. So always you do the in comparative way. Clear? So you are knowing that 14 finance commissions recommendations was from 2015 till 2020. Fine. Clear? So 31st March 2020 was your last day of the 14th Finance Commission recommendations. So already I discussed in the terms of reference. Terms of reference also I done it now. Okay, planning assistance by finance commission is not done. Just I will discuss with you right now. Okay, let me tell you the things first. 31st March 2020, terms of reference we completed now. Terms of reference of 15th Finance Commission, because we should know the terms of reference, because the question is asked. I think before that generally we are doing this we're discussing this topic, so you get it clear where terms of reference of Finance Commission we discussed it or not. Okay, just check. 14 finance commissions recommended for 2015 and 2020. So it is the if the any finance commissions recommendations is going to end in a particular day, next day you need to implement the new finance commission's recommendation, and on the basis of that you only follow the division of, or only divide the division of central taxes between center and states. Okay, you can't continue the old one, I mean existing one. That is a constitutional mandate. You have to implement the new finance commission's recommendations after the one finance commission's recommendation is going to end. So 14 finance commissions, the last day of division was 31st March 2020 implementations. So from 1st April, yeah, I think this part I discussed with you. 1st April 2020, the new finance commission recommendation was required. Okay, so 15 finance commissions, 15 finance commissions, basically it was the last day was given to submit the report on 30th October 2019. But 15 finance commission asked more time for new changes happen in the country, so they asked more time. Okay, so but government since going to implement for new finance commission recommendation after 1st April, from 1st April 2020. So this finance commission recommended 1 year for 2021, 1 year, and final report next year they submitted for 2021-26. So 1 year plus 5 year total for 6 years. 6 years the 15 finance commission submitted the report. So these things you remember. This is the final report for 21-26, and for 1 year for filling the gap they recommended this one. So 6 years they worked. Clear? Okay, one things you asked, sir, planning assistance by finance commission not done. See, planning commissions is not done by the finance commissions. No, I think go back to my class, what I discussed with you. I made the center and now states. You remember the flow chart? Center and states, and that day I discussed states are getting funds from the center through two different ways. That I discussed. Okay, the states are getting funds from the center from two different ways. One is the planning assistance and one is the through finance commission route. Remember, finance commission route, okay, we are termed as automatic route. Why automatic route? Because now you have seen till now that finance commission recommended, say 15 finance commission ki 41% from central divisible pool we have to distribute among the states. Fine. So 41% you are going to distribute. This 41% amount for among 4 states is going to be 100% because this whole amount you are going to distribute. So this total amount is the 100% for states. Clear? These distributions you are going to do on the basis of the formula each and every finance commission recommends. Like 15 finance commission recommendations and their variables I have discussed last class. Okay, so on the basis of that finance commission's horizontal tax devolution formula, how much you are going to get your share, that is going to calculate it. And once it is calculated, that much amount each and every state, concerned state, suppose you are getting some amount, the other state getting different amount. So different states are getting the different amount but on the basis of the formula. And who given this formula? Finance commissions. So once it is calculated, that much amount center has to give because it is the constitutional mandate, because it is passed in the parliament. Okay, so that much amount is that it is the reason that we are saying it is an automatic route. If the center state relationship is not good or maybe very good, irrespective of that, the states are going to get that much amount. So we termed it as an automatic route. Fine. Second way, the states are getting the fund from the center is the planning assistance. States are getting fund from the center. Okay, it is known as the other way is the known as the planning assistance. Planning assistance, earlier if you just go back, okay, earlier you go back, so I discussed in the planning in India that planning commission had the power to allocate funds. Clear? So central government giving a amount, some corpus or amount to the planning commissions, and planning commission used to distribute this fund among states for development purpose, for implementation of plan. So this amount is known as planning assistance. Still this amount is given by center to states, okay, through the, recommendations is made by the Niti Aayog, but finally sanctioned by the Ministry of Finance. Because Niti Aayog now has no power to allocate funds. Yes, Niti Aayog can formulate the plan and can ask the Ministry of Finance to allot this much of fund, but final decision is the Ministry of Finance. Okay, so power to allocate funds is taken from the Niti Aayog. So today, this is one of the major difference between the Planning Commission and Niti Aayog. But they can recommend to implement this plan, this much fund you need it. So it is it is a Ministry of Finance who can decide, it's given to or not. So planning assistance is given by the center to states from their central resources. So after division of among the states, how much money or how much fund left with the center, from that amount center is going to give you fund for implementation of plan, which is known as a planning assistance. But this amount is really depending on the central government wish. If central government wants, then only they can give you enough amount. Otherwise, they are doing that, the practical things, they are doing that, there's depending on their willingness. Because it's not the constitutional mandate ki center has to give you. But the Finance Commission's routes, center has constitutional mandate to give you. Clear? So that's we are trying to say the planning assistance. Yes. If you're reading so many articles, if you are just going and it's a discussion is going on between the center and state financial relationship, one of the issue today what the states are facing and center is going this argument that after implementation of 14th Finance Commission, this planning assistance route is now not relevant and center is not bound to give you the money. Okay. Why? Because reason is that because earlier it was there, but today again, now after implementation of 14th Finance Commission, the central government, they cut down more fund from the planning assistance. The reason is what? That if 14 Finance Commissions given states 10% more share to the states. You remember I discussed with you, go you and just see your notes, 10% basically it's extra more amount is given by the 14 Finance Commission to state governments from 32% to 42%. You remember these things. Okay. And that time the 14 Finance Commission also recommended that if center feel that more amount it's given to states, then center for their own fiscal consolidation policy, okay, proportionate amount center may cut from the planning assistance. And these recommendations given a tool to the central government, okay, and they're just saying that after implementation of 14 Finance Commissions, we are not bound to give you the planning assistance to states because enough fund is given to you and now use that fund for as planning assistance. So that is the reason several occasions the central governments use this statement and they are saying after this it's the central government is just giving this 14 Finance Commission's recommendations. Okay, this is not, after this, it's not, center is not bound to give you planning assistance. Okay, that things you have to understand. Fine. So this is it is the relationship between the planning assistance and the Finance Commission, these things. Now, center used to give planning assistance, okay, from the first 5-year plan to the third 5-year plan, there was no such formula. Initially, I am talking about, go back to the planning. So first, second, third, these 3 5-year plans, the center was allocating the planning assistance, so giving the planning assistance to state governments, okay, just on random basis. States were not protesting. The reason was that the central government, central government, the party which ruling the central government, more or less same party ruling at the state also. So there was no conflict between the center and the states. But after first, second 5-year plan, okay, then protest started by the different from the different states. They started putting their grievances. We are not getting enough funds because different governments started ruling in the states and now conflict arose. So they asked there should be a uniform formula, and that formula should be used for allocation of planning assistance fund. Then the first time under Professor Gadgil, okay, Gadgil, a committee was constituted, and Gadgil that time was the deputy chairperson of the planning commissions. So under his chairmanship, okay, a committee was constituted, and that committee recommended a formula that used for the allocation of funds. But any place or any moment, if you are, or for any purpose, if you are making a uniform formula for different states or different states are there, and one uniform formula you are using for allocation of funds, then maybe some states are going to complain, I'm not getting enough fund, I'm not getting enough fund, formula is not good. So that protest, it was there. So twice this formula was amended, okay, twice. But in 1991, okay, again a committee was constituted under Pranab Mukherjee, sir, okay. You are knowing that, I mean, he was also our former president of India. So Pranab Mukherjee sir, basically under his chairmanship, a committee was constituted, and that committee asked to review the Gadgil formula for giving planning assistance to states. Clear? So after reviewing, this committee recommended the formula, and after this committee recommendation, this Gadgil formula, known as the Gadgil-Mukherjee formula. Gadgil-Mukherjee formula. Okay, but this formula is made by the, basically used by the planning commissions. Planning commission used this formula, you remember. Planning commission used this formula for allocation of fund. Okay, but you are knowing that planning commission was not the constitutional body. Even the Niti Aayog is not the constitutional body. So totally it's depending on the central government. Even the formula was there, but it was depending on the willingness of the central government. Okay, so from first the Gadgil-Mukherjee formula, now after this committee recommendation, or after modifying by this committee or reviewing this committee, then this formula is known as Gadgil-Mukherjee formula. And this formula first time used in a 8th 5-year plan. 8th 5-year plan. Okay, and remember 8th 5-year plan we discussed with you. 8th 5-year plan is the first 5-year plan after economic reforms. So economic reforms we started in India in 1991, and first 5-year plan we implemented after economic reforms in 1992. Okay, and that 8th 5-year plan is the first 5-year plan where we implemented LPG model, and it was more inclined towards capitalist pattern of development. And that time the fund allotted among the states on the basis of formula that is known as the Gadgil-Mukherjee formula, and this formula continued till 12th 5-year plan. Okay, and after that, even before ending 12th 5-year plan, Niti Aayog constituted, and Niti Aayog had no power to allocate funds, so this formula became the irrelevant. Okay, so after that, because who is finally going to decide? The Ministry of Finance. Is it clear to all? This part I discussed. Clear? It is the planning assistance given by the center to states, and that center is giving assistance to states from their own from the resources which is left after giving resources to the state governments. And not only that, grants also, because okay, clear? I asked you two things. Please meanwhile you inform me. Terms of reference of 15th Finance Commission I discussed with you. Terms of reference of 15th Finance Commission I discussed with you. Okay, yes sir, first. And second, the economic reforms. Economic reforms topic I completed in this class. This two things I asked. Then accordingly I am just moving ahead. I will move again. Economic reforms I completed now. Okay, now just write reforms not done, sir. So economic reforms not done it now. Okay, fine. Economic reforms, as per your information, economic reforms topic I have to discuss. Fine. One you are saying reforms not done, other you are saying economic reforms is not completed, sir. Okay. Terms of reference I completed economic reform this topic. So let me complete first that recommendations part of the 15 finance commissions, because they may put, they already asked in the last year the 14 finance commissions. So probably they are going to formulate questions maybe in PT, maybe in the mains from the 15 finance commission, or they may ask you the comparative one. So you are knowing that is the one of the reason when I was discussing the formula, I discussed your horizontal and vertical devolution for 13, 14 and 15. So it will take some time for preparing this topic, but once you clear the framework, any type of question they are going to ask, you will be able to solve it. Clear? Why there is two different these things? Economic reforms as a topic I am asking, where financial reforms, tax reforms things, and the external sector reforms, what are the major steps taken in the industrial reforms, these all are as a topic I covered in the class or not. Because one of you asking, one of you are replying reforms is not completed, economic reforms not done, but right now you are saying economic reforms done, sir. Please, because it is a only single class I think, and what I am done I am doing for the everyone. So please give me this one. Meanwhile, you just complete this topic, the 15 Finance Commission recommendations. Okay, right, 15 Finance Commissions recommendations. Please, okay, right, first. The 15 Finance Commission, Finance Commissions submitted two reports. One more point, you write 15 Finance Commission under the chairmanship of Mr. N.K. Singh, write in this way, 15 Finance Commission under the chairmanship of Mr. N.K. Singh. Okay, thank you everyone. So now it's clear, and I will not ask because now I am getting it what totally I completed, then I will complete this. And you are sending me one of you sending me message ki how long I will take the economics, but I will try to complete in this whole series. Okay, if something is left I will try to manage it, but I am trying to manage the whole syllabus in this series. Fine, right, under the chairmanship of Mr. N.K. Singh, okay, submitted two reports, full stop, right. The first report, please write all of you, the first report consisting of recommendations, for the financial year 2020-21, for the financial year 2020-21, which was tabled in Parliament on 1st Feb 2020. On 1st Feb 2020. Okay. Why 1st Feb 2020? Even suddenly you are just not remembering, you are not able to recall. Just remember, now budget is presented by the government or are presented maybe in future, but future we can't say, the government may change it. But if you see the trend of today's presentation of budget, it is on the 1st Feb. So recommendations submitted by the finance commissions, it has to approved from in the parliament. So 1st Feb is the right, the day where they can present the budget, also they can put the finance commission report, because you have to get approved from the parliament. It must pass in the parliament. Okay, so you put it on the 1st Feb, and because that is going to implement from 1st of April 2020 till 31st March 2021. Okay, continue. Right, the final report with the recommendations for the final report reports with recommendations for the 2021-26 period, 2021-26 period was tabled in parliament on 1st Feb 2021 because final report implemented from 21 to 26, so you implemented on 1st Feb 2021. Clear? Okay, change the para, you write the share of states in the central taxes, the share of states in the central taxes, for the 2021-26 period, the share of states in the central taxes for the 2021-26 period is 41%, is recommended 41% is recommended, 41%, which is same for okay, which was same for 2020-21, which was same for 2021. It means for 1 year the share was 41%, and for this year also it was 41%, which was same for 2020-21. Full stop. Right. For this 41%, share of the states is less than by 1%, by 1%, is less than by 1%, okay, by 1% by the 14 finance commissions. Okay, this 41% is less by 1%, okay, by the 14 of the 14 finance commission, recommendations of the 14 finance commission recommendation, because 14 finance commission recommended 42% but 15 recommended 41%. Okay, right. 14 finance commission for the period 2015 to 2020. Full stop. Okay, write one more line. 1% is given to 1% is given to newly formed UTs 1% extra, you can write like this, 1%, or simply write 1% given to newly formed UTs Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, J&K and Ladakh. Okay, so these two are the UTs, one having that their own is legislature, but one is the without legislature, but these two are the UTs. So Finance Commission recommended 1% more to these UTs. Generally 41% which is given from the central taxes to the state government, 41% for the states only. But when this recommendation was about to prepare, that time Jammu and Kashmir was the state government. I mean state, it was a state. So approximately their share was around 1%. But meanwhile government changed their status from the state to the UTs. So Finance Commission for the development of newly constituted UTs like your Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the 1% additional amount given to these two from the central resources. It means 41% from the central taxes given to states and 1% more from the central resources it is given to Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Clear? Just right. 1% given to newly formed UTs of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh from the resources of the center. From the resources of the center. From the resources of the center. Okay? Full stop. Just right. Clear, dear? So this is the major recommendations and how this 41% is going to distribute among states. That formula we have already discussed with you, the 15 Finance Commission formula. So link from there and now you are getting it. I mean you get other major recommendation I am going to discuss. Meanwhile you asked one question, dear. Krishna asked these questions. Only central government has the power of allocation of taxes to the state, sir? Then there may be create a conflict between state and Krishna. Krishna, please dear, please. In class, please focus and concentrate. When I started discussing this topic, okay, the Finance Commission, very much in the same day we have just discussed with you, कि dear, Finance Commission is a constitutional body which is constituted under Article 280 by the President of India. Finance Commission's recommendation is not binding to the Parliament. But if Finance Commission recommends and submitting to the President and President has to put it in the Parliament, the Parliament has to decide to accept as it is or made some changes. Okay, that Parliament, because Parliament is the supreme one. Fine. You are knowing that Parliament may change because the supreme authority is still given, it is with the Parliament. But till now, the recommendation of the Finance Commission, which is constitutional body, is accepted by all the parties, the Parliament. Every time most of the time they accept it finally. There is no conflict arised. Why? Because Finance Commission generally solving and all the grievances, okay, by consulting the center and states before submissions. And they are trying to recommend in a such a way that not a single states or center states going to create a conflict. But once it is passed in the Parliament approved it, then it becomes the constitutional mandate to the center, and center can't discriminate, dear. Can't discriminate. That's from the first, this topic when I started that day I am telling you. And that is the reason I named it the automatic route. Nothing it is there with the center. Nothing it is with the center. How much percentage you have to distribute among states, that is recommended and accepted by the Finance Commission, accepted by the Parliament. So that much you have to distribute. How you can distribute among states? Not on the basis of the relationship, but on the basis of formula which is recommended by the Finance Commission. That is known as the horizontal tax devolution formula. So formula you use it, calculate the share of the particular states, give it. No conflict, dear. No conflict. That is the reason we are saying it is the automatic route. Okay? But yes, conflict always in the planning assistance, because Planning Commission was also not the constitutional body and today's Niti Aayog is also not the constitutional body. It is just by the resolution of the central government. Okay, so now for this planning assistance, the conflict is always there, always there, always there. You can take the example today, the states having good relationship with the center, they are getting enough fund. Never they are saying that I am not receiving fund from the planning assistance I am talking about. Okay, but the states, the other states, like you take the example of the Kerala, you take the example, now Punjab you take the example, Okay, Bengal, you take the example. So some states discriminate it. Okay, something has happened, then what is the requirement? Maybe it's not, but we have not named it when you're writing an exam, dear. Okay, yes, you can say कि the planning assistant, the second route I am talking about, second route we are talking about the planning assistants. So since it is not constitutional mandate, so it's totally depending on the willingness of the center and relationship in the center and state. Simply write one line. I request you, when you are going to write these exams, don't write anything either against of one party and in favor of other party. Okay, even it is there, but use the proper diplomatic words. Okay, and you if it's a good, you are lucky that you are interacting with our bureaucrats. Okay, you are under the guidance of bureaucrats also, so you can interact with them and you can learn so many things from them. Okay, Jatin sir is there, others are there, so also you learn it how they are just using the words, and this word really you use it when you're writing your answer. Don't name it, okay, and don't just be I mean the one polar one sided. No, just adopt and just take the middle part. Even you are just saying that, you just say that like this, yeah, planning assistant, maybe it's depending on the willingness of the center, and it may create some issue, conflict, what you are writing it. Okay, I named it, but you don't name it. Clear? When you are writing your this answer. Fine, dear? Now, so this vertical and horizontal is clear till here. Now you write the few information that we needed. One, right, income distance. Remember that I discussed you with the income distance when I was discussing the horizontal tax devolution formula. So please write few lines about income distance, and you should know what are the variables we are used for allocation of funds, because in PT they may ask you, so you have to know these things because related to the current finance commission. So please. Krishna, is it clear to you? Right, income distance. Income distance is the distance of a state's income. Income distance. You remember now, income distance, that's we distributing the fund on the basis of population 2011 census. Income distance, area, okay, tax and fiscal efforts, that is a forestry, I mean the forest and ecology, that is this another variables. Okay, demographic performance, these are another variables. Go back to this, I mean the horizontal tax devolution formula, there you can get it. So just you write few lines about income distance. Right, income distance is the distance of a state's income is the distance of a state's income from the state with the highest income, from the state with the highest income. No, income distance we done it, we understand. Just write 2 lines about that. Okay, 2 lines about that only. Okay, thank you. I think I dictated you. Okay, and other part of this, grants. No, that's this much information I wanted, already you send me, so it's visible. Now I just dictated you, so this part is over. So grants we have discussed with you, the grants which are recommended by the Finance Commission. See, continuation, one topic continuation is very necessary, because if you break the topic, grants part here. Fine, grants part I think, okay, now start dear grants, don't wait. Remember in terms of reference, in terms of reference, I discussed with you that there are three major responsibility of the finance commissions. If you constitute finance commission, then finance commission has to recommend on three issues. One is vertical devolutions and horizontal devolutions. Clear? Second, finance commission has to recommend recommend the grants. So that part I discussed with you in terms of reference. And grants which finance commission has to recommend under article 275 of the Indian constitutions. Why grants? You understand one thing, it is a single formula. Okay, and single formula you are using for allocation of fund among the states. But single formula if you are using for allocation of funds, so there is a possibility that some states are getting funds which they require it, as per requirement they are getting it. But you can't ensure that all states as per their requirement they are getting fund from this formula. So how can you fill this gap? So the finance commission also has to recommend under article 275 the grants to states. So the finance commission can recommend, okay, is recommending, basically recommending that the grants on the what is the basis to give grants should be given to states, that basis has to define. And second, how much one state or few states getting grants, so finance commission has to quantify. He has to quantify that this is the total grant should be given to states, and which states getting how much, that he has to define it, is recommend, quantify it, so that after a recommendation, after approval by the parliament, the center has to give that much grants to states. Center can't discriminate it. Okay. So now we are talking about what are the basis the center has given grants to states. Okay, so quantity I will tell you, but for exam purpose, quantity is not matter for us, for examination purpose. But if quantity, the quantum of the grants, if you are knowing, you may use somewhere where it's you want to just write it. But in exam, your answer generally what is the pattern? They are policy things they are asking. Okay, but this micro level, how much grants is given, so this is basically they are avoiding, and you can also avoid it. But I will dictate to you, I will just give you the amount, you should write. Okay, if it is possible then you remember, otherwise just you know what are the basis. Clear? Please write. Over the 2021-26, over the 2021-26, you give the heading grants or full things you want to write, then you can write grants in ad. Okay. So, right. Over the 2021-26 period, the following grants will be given from the centers okay from the centers resources What do you mean by that? Whatever the central taxes, if you take the all central taxes, remember na, I discussed all central taxes, all excluding cess and surcharges. Okay, so excluding cess and surcharges, you take all central taxes, just exclude. Center is not distributing cess and surcharges. So except these two, all central taxes you were going to divide. So 41% is given to states. So what is remaining amount left? From this amount, grants will be given to state governments. So other than the 41%, the resources left with the central government, from this amount, the center is going to give as a grants to states. So grants are over and above 41%. Okay, not from the 41%. These things remember, clear? Right, revenue deficit grants. First you give the heading, revenue deficit grants. Okay, yes dear. So why grants are given? So one of the basis, Finance Commission recommends grants to states, that is the revenue deficit. Go back to the my class, previous class, revenue deficit, which is, revenue deficit means the deficit which incurred due to the current consumption expenditure of the government. Okay, and current consumption expenditure is nothing but is the name we are saying, the revenue expenditure. So revenue expenditure, remember in the class we have discussed, it's an expenditure incurred by the government, okay, to meet the day-to-day requirement, day-to-day expenditure. That is the current expenditure. Okay, so if a state is not able to meet the current expenditure or day-to-day expenditure from their own resources, this is really where the fiscal health of the government is not good. Okay, and that deficit is known as the revenue deficit. So if states, after getting some all resources, even they are facing the, or state are facing the huge amount of revenue deficits, okay, then Finance Commission may give the grants to these states, and what is the basis of? The basis is the revenue deficits. Right, please, under this heading you write 17 states will receive, 17 states. So total 17 states in India are given the grants on the basis of revenue deficit, and amount is 2.9 lakh crore, and this amount is given between 2021 to 26. Okay, right. Please write first, 17 states will receive grants worth rupees 2.9 lakh crores to eliminate revenue deficit, clear? Okay, now next you write sector specific grants. Next is sector specific grants. Here sector specific grants are given because if maybe the Finance Commission thinks that these sectors has to develop, or these sectors have to develop in the different states. So to promoting or developing the particular sectors, the Finance Commission can recommend grants. Clear? So there are 8 sectors. To develop these 8 sectors, the Finance Commission recommended grants. Okay, and now states are given the amount, the grants for development of these 8 sectors. So what is our job here as a student? We should know about what are the 8 sectors. So they can frame questions in the PT like questions. They can ask you, the grants are given to specific sectors by the 15 Finance Commissions. Which are the grants? Which are the sectors? Or they may ask you, they can give you 4 or 5 sectors. They may ask which are the sector where grants is not given. So if you remember all the 8 sectors, then you can easily answer these things. Clear? So please write, all of you. Right? Sector specific grants of rupees 1.3 lakh crore. Okay, 1.3 lakh crore, right? Sector specific grants of rupees 1.3 lakh crores will be given to states, for or will be given to states for 8 sectors. 8 sectors. Right, 1, 2, 3 like this. First you write, yeah, health, school education, higher education, school education, higher education, 3 already 3, and fourth one, right, implementation of agricultural reforms. Fourth one, implementation of agricultural reforms. Okay. Fifth one, agriculture reforms. Fifth one, you write maintenance of Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana roads. Okay. Maintenance of Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana roads, PMGSY roads. Okay, roads. Sixth one you write judiciary. Sixth one you write judiciary. Seventh one write statistics. Seventh one statistics. Statistics means what? Now you understand one thing. Today the whole world or any country's development and faster communication, bringing transparency, we have to update our data. Data means the information related to all economic variables of a particular country. Okay, particular country. So you need the data, you need the information related all variables like land informations, like employment, like the per capita income, GDP, each and every village, every macroeconomic variables, everything, all data you need it. So how can you compile the data? You can restore the data, you can update the data. So for data informations, you need a particular infrastructure and you have to develop. So statistics is the sector which is given grants to the states for development of the data information or statistics, maintaining this and developing this infrastructure. Clear? So statistics you write. Then eighth one you write, aspirational districts and blocks. Yeah. Aspirational districts and blocks. Okay, for this scheme, it is a scheme of the central government to develop a particular district and the block. So for that purpose grants are given. Clear, dear? All state are 8 state sector you discussed, you written that. Just you write one line, change the para, you write one line, right? Right. A portion of these grants are linked to performance based. A portion of these grants are linked with performance based. Means maybe one portion is given to you, okay, but you can't expect whether you are performing or not, this amount will be given to you. No, one initial amount will be given to you. If you are using this amount and performing, then next lot or next amount will be given to you. That is a performance linked. Clear to all? Okay, now next is the sector specific, state specific grants. State specific grants. Yeah, that was the sector grants. These are the state specific grants. Okay, right. The commission recommended state specific grants of rupees 49,599, 49,599 crore. It is only crore. This much rupee are given to state specific grants. Okay. The commission recommended state specific grants rupees 49,599 crore. Right. These grants will be given in the areas of it's a state specific, but if it's given to state, then state has to use in that particular area. Okay, right. In the areas of, first you write social needs. Okay. Second you write social needs. Second you write administrative governance and infrastructure. Administrative governance and infrastructure. Okay. Third you write water and sanitation. Water and sanitation. Water and sanitation. Next you write preservation of culture and historical monuments. Preservation of culture and historical monuments. Yeah. Preservation of culture and historical monuments. Clear? Next you write high cost physical infrastructure. Suppose you want to do investment for its physical infrastructure and there is a high cost, for that grants should be given. Okay, high cost physical infrastructure. And sixth one you write tourism. So for of the tourism you can get this amount. Okay, you remember these 6 sectors, 6 areas are there. These are the state specific grants. In 8 sectors you have seen, that is a sector specific grants. You have to remember, because in the PT they can frame question from this topic. Okay, they can ask you related to the finance commissions. Okay, now change the para, you write one line. Change the para, write the commission recommended a high level committee. The committee recommended a high level committee at state level, high level committee at state level, to review and monitor utilization of state specific grants and sector specific grants. Utilization of state specific grants and sector specific grants. Yeah, these things fine. So please remember, okay, and so the horizontal, vertical is fine, grants is fine. Remember in terms of reference the third point. What was the third point? In terms of reference we have discussed. Third point we have discussed, and that day I discussed कि after 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, now in India the layer of government is now 3 layers. 3-layer government is created, because local government, the concept of local government was introduced under this amendment. So now there are 3 layers government. One is the central government, state government and the local government. So third responsibility is assigned to the Finance Commission after 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment. Clear? And what is the third responsibility which is assigned to the Finance Commission? That the Finance Commission has to recommend the grants to local bodies on the basis of recommendations made by the state finance commissions. Clear hai? So just I discussed in the class that day also, that is when I was discussing the terms of reference, the third responsibility of the Finance Commission, which is the main part of your terms of reference, third point, कि yes कि the Center Finance Commission has to recommend grants to local bodies based on the recommendations of the state finance commissions. Okay, recommendation of State Finance Commission. And this third responsibility assigned to the Central Finance Commission after the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, when third tier or third tier of government has created. Clear? So what are the recommendations made by the 15th Finance Commission related to the local body? Just you write now. Okay, that is the third point. Please write grants to local bodies. Grants to local bodies. Then you just, as per the third responsibility, grants to local bodies. Here, local bodies means you can say local government. Local government. That is the municipalities, your okay, just panchayats, this you can say, right. The total grants to local bodies, the total grants to local bodies will be, or you can just write R, the total grants to local bodies is 4.36 lakh crore. Again, I am saying you numerical value is just symbolic one for exam purpose. You have to focus the implication of this and the provision of this. Clear? Right, 4.36 crore, 4.36 lakh crores. Right, and a proportion of grants is performance based, and a proportion of grants is performance based. If you are performing, then only you are going to get the grants, other part of the grants, otherwise not. Performance based. Okay, write it. Right. To just change the para, you write to rupees 2.4 lakh crore. Out of this, to rupees 2.4 lakh crore for rural local bodies, comma 1.2 lakh crore for urban local bodies, 1.2 lakh crores for urban local bodies, and rupees 70,051 crore, 70,051 crore, 70,051 crore for health grants, for local bodies, for health grants for local bodies, for health grants for local bodies. Health grants to local bodies or local governments. Full stop, right? Please. Okay. Clear to all? Now write grants to, change the para. Next point you can write. Make it the point first. This and second point under this heading, grants to local bodies. You are writing. Second point you write grants to local bodies. Grants to local bodies other than health grants. Grants to local bodies other than health grants, are distributed among states, based on populations and area, Okay, full stop, right? 90% based on population and 10% based on 90% based on population and 10% based on area. What is the meaning of that? Ki suppose a state got the fund, clear, for distribution among the grants should be grants for the local bodies. So you have to take the 90% out of that, the grants you are going to distribute to the local bodies. This 90% you have to distribute according to the population of that particular local bodies. So go back to the horizontal tax devolution formula as I discussed with you. You are knowing that state having more population, they can get more share. Similarly, local bodies, if local area having more populations, they will get more share. The 90% is going to distribute on the basis of the populations, and 10% on the basis of area of that particular local area. So 10% amount you are taking it and just distributing on the basis of area that particular local bodies has. More area you have, then you can get more share out of this amount. Less area you have, you can get less amount for this variable. Clear to all here? Of few conditions are there, just write. Next point you write. The commission put certain conditions. The commissions put certain conditions for availing these grants. Except health grants. It means that local grants will be given to local bodies with certain conditions. But this condition is not applicable in the health grants. Okay. Put certain conditions. First you write publishing provisional and audited accounts. Publishing provisional and audited accounts in the public domain. See, yes, earlier, generally it is practiced that the grants given to local bodies, hardly states maintaining the record. Okay, and even they are maintaining the record, okay, but they are not bringing in the public domain. And if you are not bringing in the public domain, so there is a possibility of corruptions, there is a possibility of misutilization of fund. So Finance Commission has put this condition that the grants will be given to the states if conditions is one, you have to publish the provisional and audited accounts. Provisional means grants is given, but you have to say this amount I am going to use for this purpose. This is the provisional one. But after utilization, again you have to go for audit, and after audit you have to publish the all information that must be in the public domain. So if you are doing that, means you are ensuring that you are bringing the transparency of use of public funds, and you are ensure that the public funds are used for productive purpose. This is the ultimate and main motive behind this, audited things. So that condition is put by the Finance Commission. First. Second one you write fixation of minimum tax for property, or fixation of minimum rates for property tax by states. Fixation of minimum rates for property tax, by the states, and improvement in the collection of property taxes, improvement in the collection of property taxes. Yes, this is the conditions. Yes, you have to fix a minimum property tax rate. You are knowing in the so many states having the very worst conditions. Even the years and years the publics are not paying the property tax, and government hardly taking very strict actions to them, because again the same things, political advantage. Okay, so what the Finance Commission is saying that yes, you can avail these taxes, grants, but you have to fix the minimum property tax. Okay, this should be the minimum, and the minimum means they may charge more than this, not below than this. Okay, and collection efficiency you have to increase. Okay, then only you can avail these grants. Okay, second point, and please write one more point. Okay, no grants will be released to local bodies. Right, one more point. no grants means what the grants is allotted to you, but these grants are not going to release if you are not constituting your state finance commissions and you are not implementing their recommendations, because so many states they are reluctant to constitute their state finance commissions, because state finance commission has to recommend what is the requirement of the local bodies. So who is going to study in-depth study of that particular states, the requirement of local bodies and the state governments? It is the State Finance Commission that has to do this work, and on the basis of that, Central Finance Commission has to recommend. So you have to do that. If you are not doing that, then grants will not be released. So that condition has put by the Finance Commission. Just right. No grants will be released to local bodies of a state. No grants will be released to local bodies of a state after March 2024. After March 2024, if the state does not constitute, a state finance commission, and act upon its recommendations, by then, THEN, by then. Okay. If you are not acting on this, then okay, just check here. Clear? So amount is given. What is the basis it is given? What are the conditions put by the Finance Commission? These all are there for the grants to local bodies. And you have to remember for exam purpose. So if you just generally what we are doing for the one day exam, yes, 41% we remember this much, but we are not going in that way. Okay, we are avoiding to go. No, but we have to know all the things. These are the minimum requirement for this PT and the mains. You have to know, and maximum you can sit and read the reports. It's one of the good things, but we don't have time that much. So we are trying to consolidate the information related to the Finance Commission, the minimum information what we need for these exams. Clear here? Okay, now next point you write. Disasters risk management. I discussed you terms of reference. In terms of reference of 15 finance commissions, one thing was asked by these 15 finance commissions, that the fund constituted by sharing the center and state, center is contributing some, state is contributing some, as a fund is constituted under the Disaster Management Act 2005. So center asked the finance commissions to recommend and think about the constitution of this fund. They asked in the terms of reference. So on the basis of the terms of reference, what the Finance Commission recommended, just you write here 2-3 lines, not more than that. Please write. The commission recommended retaining the existing cost sharing patterns between the center and the states, for disasters management funds. Disasters management funds. Clear? Full stop. The right. The cost sharing pattern. See, suppose some states are not. Biswajit, you asked, sir, why March 2024? Because maybe some states not initiated. So this commission submitted, this commission final report is started from 21-26. So even suppose you started and all the grants are basically part of your main final reports. So once it is published, then states realize, no, if I am not implementing the State Finance Commission recommendation, we are not constituting, then we are not going to get the funds. So you understand that after submission the report, because the first time they placed in the parliament on 1st Feb 2021. So when it is going to place on 1st Feb 2021, so you have to give enough time to the state government. It's not the like there is a one-day game like the Finance Commission, ki today you constitute, tomorrow you can expect the recommendation from the Finance Commissions. No dear. This Finance Commission, maybe State Finance Commission, maybe the Central Finance Commission, they have the huge task to do that. Even you are constituting the State Finance Commission, then State Finance Commission has the responsibility to study the fiscal health of the each and every local government. The rural governments plus urban governments, each and every rural government and each and every urban government, they have to study their fiscal health. How much taxes they are getting from locally, what is their requirement, what are the responsibilities, what are the expenditure they are unnecessarily they are spending. You have to comment, you have to go through each and every things. It takes time, dear, it takes time. So at least one like this in the Central Finance Commission, initially the Finance Commission was given approximately 2 years. Because in 2017 last, maybe September, in 17 last they constituted, and 18 and 19, October 2019 it was given for submissions. But even that 2 years, the Finance Commission asked more time for study the things because new changes happened. So at least you have to give some enough time so that they can come to the conclusions. So 21 it's submitted. So 22, 23, and it's a March 2024. This is the last. Means you have to constitute, the Finance Commission has to recommend, and then your State Assembly has to pass. It takes time, dear. It's the final implementations. Clear? So time period is like this. Right. What you have written? The cost sharing pattern between center and states is first you write 90:10. First you write 90:10 for Northeast. I am writing the short form, you write in the complete, full form. For Northeast and Himalayan states. Northeast and Himalayan states. 90:10. It means the disaster management fund which is created for these states, Himalayan states and Northeast, the 90% is contributed by the central government and 10% only cost sharing by the state governments. Clear? Second you write, second 75:25. 75:25 for all other states. For all other states. 75:25 for all other states. Yes, it means for all other states other than the Northeast and Himalayan states, all the states, 75% is going to contribute by the, central government will contribute, and 25% the states will contribute. Clear here? The same recommendation is continue what was prevailing earlier. This is the recommendation related to disasters management funds. Disasters management funds. Clear? Fine, dear. Now, next you write health. Health you write. Other recommendations you can write, then on that you can write health. Other recommendations. other recommendations. Under this you write health. One you write health. Yeah, health you write. Please write. State, I mean the Finance Commission recommendation related to health is states should increase spending. States should increase spending on health, on health, on health, on health to more than 8% of their budget, 8% of their budget by 2022. Yeah, budget by 2022. This is the one of the recommendations for state government. Yes, because they want to develop the local level, basically state level, basically the health sector. Okay, continue there. Primary health care expenditure, primary health care expenditure should be 2/3, should be 2/3. Primary health care expenditure. That is a 2/3. Primary health care expenditure, 2/3. Healthcare expenditure should be 2/3 of the total health expenditure, 2/3 of the total health expenditure by 2022. Total health expenditure by 2022. Okay, continue in the same point, right? Centrally sponsored scheme, centrally sponsored schemes in health, in health, in health should be flexible enough, should be flexible enough, should be flexible enough to promote innovations, to promote innovation, to promote innovation, to promote innovation. Okay, clear? Now one more point you write under the health only. Okay, central sponsored scheme in health, central sponsored scheme in health should be shifted from, should be shifted from please add one more part, focus of, focus of, focus of, focus of central sponsored scheme, focus of central sponsored scheme in health, in health, in health should be shifted from, should be shifted from input, inputs to output, output. Means you should not focus on the inputs, you should not only focus to the expenditure. No, your spending keeps spending, this is the input. You have to think about the output, what the result you are getting. So result should be your parameter, result should be your target. You should spend in a such a way that I can get the output, the result. Okay, you can say outcome budget, you can say the performance budget like this. So the output, clear to all? Yes, one more recommendations you write within the health, right? All India, yes dear, all India medical, all India medical and health all India medical and health service, medical and health service should be established, should be established. Okay, just like the IS, Indian Administrative Services, IPS, Indian Police Services. Similarly, you have to just implement or establish the All India Medical and Health Survey. This is the recommendations of the 15 Finance Commissions. So 15 Finance Commission recommended that to establish the All India Medical and Health Services. Okay, services. Okay, right. Services. You establish it. Why, you know? Because if you see very practical life, for this the reading the books even is not you need it. Just see the practical one. If a doctor, good doctor, they always prefer to practice in the urban areas and the big cities. They don't prefer to go to the rural areas and other part of the nations. But you have to bring the uniformity of the medical on the health standard in the all over the country. Just like if a person is selected as a IS officer or IPS officer and state is assigned, then that officer has to go in that state, serve in that states, okay, and then move around the particular state in the different part of the state. And in there is requirement is there, they can even just deputation basis, the government can send from one state to other states and they can bring the center. So you are able to create the uniformity. So that is the one of the aim of this services, that the best talent you can just distribute in a such a way that in the all over the country, okay, so that the medical standard and health services you can bring in the uniformity, but it's not uniform right now. So it is suggested once you join as the All India Services, then you are bound to go to the different part of the country. It is a part of your job profile one. So this is the one of the recommendations. Implication is that related to health. Okay, now next you write, next in other recommendation, next point you write, funding of defense and internal security. Funding of defense and internal security. Yeah, this point you have to understand here. Remember when I was discussing your terms of reference, I just discussed with you in 2019, in June 2019, I think, yeah. So Government of India means government amended the terms of reference of 15 finance commissions and they assigned the additional responsibility. So Government of India asked to the finance commissions to suggest a fund, or recommend a fund, and this fund can be used for defense development and internal security, because defense and internal security where central government is spending the huge amount, and defense and internal security really they need the huge amount of fund. So finance commission, 15 finance commission was asked to recommend a fund, how we can create a fund for this purpose. Okay, that is after amendment of terms of reference of 15 finance commission. This was asked to the 15 finance commission and finance commission recommended it. So finance commission recommended MFDIS. That is the MFDIS. It is the modernization fund for defense and internal security. For defense and internal security. So the finance commission has recommended to constitute this fund, and just write few lines to all of you. And one more point you understand, the total fund is going to create from the two different sources. One source is the budgetary assistance. budgetary assistance. One source means you can create this fund, but one part you can take from the budgetary assistance, and budgetary assistance from where you are getting? You are getting from the Consolidated Fund of India. Consolidated Fund of India. So Consolidated Fund of India, from there you can get a fund, one part that is known as the budgetary assistance, and second part you can get after monetizations. After monetization of just let me, I'm going to, you have written this now, I need a space. Second is the monetization of defense lands, monetization of defense land, and your I mean the CP public sector, defense public sectors, defense public sector, disinvestment of defense public sector, disinvestment of defense public enterprises कर सकते हो, enterprises, defense enterprises. Clear? So two way, one is your, you can get the budgetary assistance from Consolidated Fund of India, and other part you can get the fund, I mean you can just bring the money, or you fund this fund from after monetizing the defense land, means sell out your defense land, and second, disinvestment of defense public enterprises. And you are knowing that the central government already handed over the defense ordnance factories to the private hands, okay, and they're creating the fund. So you understand the decisions, recommendations connected with the practical implications. What exactly happening today in the economy? What are the basis of this? Because in exam they are going to connect it. So connectivity must be there. So not only knowing this, you also check really it's happening in the country or not, and why it is happening in the country. So disinvestment of your ordnance factories, selling of your defense lands, it is a part of the recommendation of finance commissions. Okay, they are recommending, and this money will be used to creating a fund, and this fund will be used for modernization of defense and internal security. Clear? What is wrong and right? Later you will think about this. But yes, when you're going to write for exam, okay, you have to just go in the way what the government is thinking. Clear? Government is thinking. Just write few lines about this idea. A dedicated non-lapsable Non-lapsable means you understand about this. In the budget, suppose you allotted a fund for a particular purpose in budget, say in budget 22-23, you allotted some fund for a particular purpose, and this is the normal fund. So if you are not able to use this fund during this budgetary year, the next year, that is which is going to start from 23-24, this is a fiscal year, from 1st of April. The next, till the allotted fund for 22-23, maximum you can use till 31st March or before that. Once 31st March is over and 1st April 2023 enter, this is the second fiscal year, you can't use the fund which is allotted in the previous year. That is elapsed. So you can see in the government department, sometimes in the very hurry and the last of the fiscal year, the government officials keeps using the fund, okay, because they are knowing that if I am not using the funds is going to lapse, okay. But here for these funds, that is a modernization fund for defense and internal security, for this fund the government asked to the finance commission, you recommend for non-lapsable funds. This is the non-lapsable funds. Recommendation for non-lapsable fund. Non-lapsable fund means if you are not using the fund in this particular year, don't worry. You can use the same year in the next year also, next year also, next year. Means every year if you allot some fund, that fund is going to accumulate. The fund is going to accumulate. Keeps accumulating. And when you want to use it, you can use it. When you need it, you can use it. Okay. So this modernization fund for defense and internal security, it is a non-lapsable funds. Clear to all? Please write here. Okay, right. Non-lapsable, a dedicated non-lapsable fund called the Modernization Fund for Defense and Internal Security. Modernization Fund for Defense and Internal Security is constituted to primarily bridge the gap, or meet the gap, between budgetary requirements and allocation of funds. Budgetary requirements and allocation of funds. Mean, what is the requirement of this sector, modernization and internal security? What is the requirement? How much you allot it? So the deficit amount, the difference amount, you can use from this fund. That is the main motive. Clear? Main objective. Okay. Bridge the gap between budgetary requirements and fund allotted in defense and internal security. In defense and internal security. In defense and internal security. Clear here? Okay, fine. Full stop, right? The funds will have an estimated corpus of, you can write the fund is an estimated corpus of, the fund has an estimated corpus of rupees 2.5 lakh crores. Rupees 2.4, not 5, 2.4 lakh crore, 2.4 lakh crore. Corpus. Corpus means amount, the fund you are talking about. Clear? The corpus of rupees 2.4 lakh crores over the 5 year period 2021-26. Okay, so during these 5 years you have to accumulate 2.4 lakh crores. Okay, during 2021-26, during the period 2021-26. Okay, full stop, right? Out of this rupees 1.5 lakh crore, rupees 1.5 lakh crore, rupees 1.5 lakh crore, okay, will be transferred from the Consolidated Fund of India, will be transferred from the Consolidated Fund of India, for and rest of the amount will be generated from the disinvestment of defense public sector enterprises, and monetization of defense lands, and monetization of defense lands. And monetization of defense lands. Clear? Yeah, monetization of defense lands. Yes, full stop, dear. These are the major recommendations by the 15 finance commissions. Okay, so there is no limit. It's particularly for knowing. Okay, so there is huge report, but what is the minimum requirement that at least we must know before going for to exam? Okay, these are there. So I request all of you, so read each and everything, like reason behind it, the horizontal formula, variables, what are the variables known, what are the major recommendations, that is a vertical devolution, horizontal devolutions, the grants to the local bodies, what are the major things that we covered till now. Okay, so now you tell me any questions, anything related to this topic till here, then I can answer you, because now your fiscal policy, the finance commissions, we are able to complete. Clear? So please look into this topic. All of you, I request, any things, any points, any topic you are not able to relate or you are getting any problems, tell me. Okay, because 1 minute left, so if you have any queries, then tell me, otherwise I will start your new topic. And as far as if you see the who is out of the total 15 finance commission 21-26, if you take the whole 5 year, the final report I am telling you for 21-26 20, see the highest amount the UP, always generally UP is getting, due to the population, other things, UP is getting 17.939. UP is getting 17.939 939%. So out of the total share, out of the total amount, the UP is going to get the 17.939. And if you think about in the double digit is Bihar is getting 10.058. Okay, and then if you just think about which one is getting the next one, yeah, MP is getting, I'm just writing, why they are shifting, MP is getting around 7.850 MP is getting. And then you just think who is getting highest one. Next is the West Bengal. West Bengal is getting again 7.523. 7.523. So these all states, if you just think, only the double digit to UP and Bihar 17 and 10, okay, and not other states are getting in double digit. Okay, now highest one all are getting below than this, but the highest two are getting after that in 7 or more than 7%. One is the Madhya Pradesh 7.850 and West Bengal is getting 7.523. This much amount we are getting out of the total amount what the central government is going to distribute. Okay, and it is other than the grants. I'm not saying the grants, it's except grants. These are the sharing, that is out of how much your 41% you allotted to distribute among the states. Okay, then the states are getting this much share out of 41%. And for states it is going to be 100%. So out of that 100% amount, these four are getting the highest one, first, second, and you can say third and fourth one. Okay, yeah, This much, dear, at least you should know. Fine. So I will start your around 2 o'clock the next class. So for 1 hour there is a break, 1 to 2. So 2 I will restore your class. Okay. Thank you everyone.